Hi, hello, and welcome to the Crewcast Podcast. My name is Lizzie Max. I'm film crew, and I don't think we get nearly as much credit as we deserve. So I've created a space where crew and cast can come together to talk about life on both sides of the camera. So welcome to the Crewcast Podcast. So you are listening to the sultry voices of wonderful stuntmen and actors, James Cox and Paul Lowe. I'm Lizzie Max, and we all met working on the set of... I'm going with Lizzie Max, by the way.
Lizzie Max,
Just,
good.
yeah,
I like
think
it.
It's fun.
I don't know what your actual name is.
Elizabeth.
There we go.
We all met on the set of Netflix film The Woman in Cabin 10, shot in August to December 2024. Paul was our lovely stunt coordinator. James was the assistant. Glamorous, glorious assistant stunt coordinator.
Correct, yeah.
And I was the lovely producer, Deborah Hayward's assistant. You two are going to hate this next bit because I'm about to blow some smoke because I'm doing some intros.
Okay.
So don't cringe too much. James, you are credited on over 85 jobs on IMDb. I don't know how often you go on there every night to just check it all. Along with working as a stunt coordinator, James has doubled for the likes of Aaron Taylor-Johnson, which we love, Daniel Craig and Chris Evans. Some of your performances...
The radio DJ?
No, the other one.
What?
The radio DJ?
Yeah.
No, he's still older than me.
Some of his performances include Kylo Ren's henchman, A Knight of Ren in The Force Awakens, Stormtrooper in The Last Jedi, a Red Rim soldier in Black Widow, Rebel Alliance pilot in Rogue One, my personal favourite, which you're going to have to explain this to me, Mick in EastEnders.
Oh, yeah. I've forgotten about that. Yeah, Mick in EastEnders, yeah.
We'll go back to that, because
Yeah,
I was
please
like,
do.
I was scrolling through, I saw it and I was like, Mick,
No, he's
what?
in the world of EastEnders, he's a big character.
Is he Mick?
Were
Yeah, he's
you
well known.
doubling
He's
or
well
were
known.
you acting?
I think I was actually Mick.
You were
So, yeah.
amazing.
Right.
Uh,
That's random.
Paul Lowe. We are going to talk about you because I've been working about 10 years now, fairly successfully, right? I think I might have 20 odd jobs credited on IMDb. Obviously, I know you guys have been working for more than me, but Paul, you have over 100 jobs on IMDb. And I was looking at it going through like how it's quite amazing. You're a hugely experienced stunt coordinator, but you also dabble in the acting. Some of Paul's key performances include doubling as young Bruce Wayne in Batman Begins.
That's very cool.
Sick.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Stunt performer in 3 separate Potter films, 5, 7 and 8. Now, I asked Paul, I'd fired you a WhatsApp being like, so what did you do? Basically, you were like, don't know. Was your answer.
It's all different things.
If I worked on the Potter films, I'd be able to tell you what socks I was wearing that day. Like, I was blown away that...
Because I said, because I done the one with I don't even know the name of the film.
See, this is
the one with the mirrors in,
horrifying.
the hall of mirrors, and we done some stuff in there. And then I done the last 2, but we was like all the fighting at the end. No, like it's a
the
big
battle
thing.
of-
Yeah,
yeah.
And he was loads of us, just as like the school kids with the wands. And then I also doubled Death Eater. So I played a scale Death Eater. So when there's a lot of stuff with Hagrid, because he's obviously
sure.
to make him look
Yeah.
taller. So they had me in like a Death Eater costume.
Oh,
So yeah.
well, there you go.
There we
Okay.
go.
Sick. You've worked on Spectre, Bourne, Assassin's Creed, core stunt performer on Dumbo.
Yeah.
You were Dumbo, weren't
I
you?
played
You
I was
were
about
like,
to say, more
Yeah.
than core stunt.
Yeah.
He
I
was
played
the
Dumbo,
main
yeah.
man
I
slash
played Dumbo.
elephant.
what?
I'll do animals, kids, whatever. As in play animals, kids.
Yeah.
That's very strange.
How? Okay. The last 2 are kind of brilliant. This one, Colin from The Chemist in 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people still...
Iconic.
I was away the other day, and my mate messaged me on Instagram, and he was like, I've just seen you on 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps. And I'd done that about 24 years ago. I had like a skinhead.
I think on Cabin 10, you showed me that for the first time.
Oh
I
my
think that was the
God.
first time you
Really?
showed me the clip. It
So
was very funny.
I knew Sheridan Smith.
Okay.
You're in it a couple of times, aren't you? Is it one episode?
No, just one episode,
You pop it up a couple of times.
No, just one episode.
Right.
And then
My
they
family-
needed someone and wanted someone a bit quirky, and she said, oh, I know Paul, I think, and then I went in, and yeah, I got to do it. But it was just a funny little weird setup. They were all like regulars, and I just got to go in for like a day and do this little silly thing, yeah.
That's so, yeah.
When
Colin from The Chemist. Not as good as the guy from EastEnders, though. Not as iconic as
Mick. Or Mick.
I
Oh,
saw
Nick or
Mick.
It was Mick.
Mick,
Sorry,
as
yeah,
if
of
you
course.
don't.
Of course, yeah.
I actually watched. You're in My Family. You're in 2 episodes of My Family.
Yeah.
Which I was watching when I was doing my research.
Oh, yeah.
I like skip forward to your bits.
Oh, that's what I play darts,
So
isn't
good,
it?
yeah.
You ever play, yeah?
That's the bit I've seen. Oh, that's what I'm
The
thinking.
darts one, yeah.
I'm thinking of that one. I've not seen
So
maybe Colin
good.
from The Chemist.
Yeah, no.
The last thing that I'm going to mention is you doubled as Rick and Evelyn O'Connell's son. Do you know those names? Do
Oh,
they ring
yeah.
a bell?
Yeah.
You're the son Alex in one of the best films I believe ever made, a work of art, The Mummy Returns.
That was my,
Ah.
that was my
But I
first
don't
ever
say
film.
that lightly.
Oh, yeah.
That is one of the best films ever made.
Well, that was my first ever film, and
Really?
because The Mummy was massive, and then
Yeah.
I was, I'm not gonna, but I was doing a theatre show, and I wanted to finish, and then there was an audition to double the lead kid in that, and I remember walking on, I got it, and I remember walking on set, and the first thing I did was a scene with Brendan Fraser, because the young boy couldn't be there, so I was a stunt double.
Also, peak Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, but they
Like,
said,
woof.
can you just stand here and do these offlines to Brendan Fraser?
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, little Scouse kid going,
You
whatever.
just come straight from the theatre.
Yeah, and I
you're
shit
in-
myself. Can I swear?
Yes.
I got a fright. I was like Brendan Fraser. And I'm like, oh my god, that was my first day on a film
Wow.
set.
Wow, what a start.
Well, the first thing I seen actually was him, and he had to like grab these like like spider webs and like reveal himself. And even just that, I was like, this is cool.
That's cool.
Whoa.
I was like,
Very
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
That's so good. Paul, just from the looks of your IMDb, yeah, so on your IMDb, you started quite young. I couldn't count because your birthday's not on there.
Oh, April
Oh, that's not an accident.
20th. I'm 18. Not 81. I was born in 81.
Oh,
So-
born in 81.
But how old were you when you started? Because that sounds quite young.
In the film industry or like theatre.
film, I would say.
So I think I was just turned 19.
Well,
in
okay.
film. So I was doing theatre from a young age, and then I was in the West End at 16, doing shows, and then I done a show called Whistle and the Wind, and then I'd done it for 2 years, and then I wanted to finish, and my agent then said there was a film called The Mummy Returns
Oh, wow, so that's
to
how
be
it...
a stunt double, and I'd never done stunts, so I went and done it, and I was like, and I met all these cool people, and I was like, oh, I can still be in the industry and do something fun. And I'm not acting, which I want to do, but I get to do something fun, so I just went and done that.
Did you have any sort of inkling towards stunts? Like, why? It's
Well,
weird, wouldn't they, that they just say, by the way, it's a stunt role?
No, so I was like a tough little kid, as in like I was, I used to like box, and I used to like, I was very sort of physical, and and even when I used to do like acting, especially with the National Youth Music Theatre, I loved physical comedy, throw myself around. And so when this came up, my agent was like, well, you like physical stuff, just go. And then I went, and it was dangerous. It was more dangerous then than it is now, but because I was young, you don't really see the danger, and I was like, I'm tough.
Yeah.
And it was just fun. So I didn't grow up thinking I wanted to be a stuntman, but I was like, oh, I get told what to do and I can do it.
Yeah.
And I'm around all these people. It was just a real nice sort of experience, but there was not one bit of me growing up like, oh, I want to do stunts. It was like, so when I meet people now, who say, oh, I grew up wanting to be a stuntman, I'm like, must be really cool to be a stuntman now, because that was never my ambition.
No, I guess people didn't even know it was like a
Was a
thing.
thing.
Like, unless you were in that circle somehow.
Yeah.
Which is mainly through probably a bit of a family connection or...
It's not really advertised, is it?
No,
Well,
I mean, it doesn't
your
seem like a
first
real job.
Your first job was stunts as well, as a horse rider, Robin Hood? Russell Crowe's
Well,
Robin Hood.
part of kind of the training for stunts, they've changed it now slightly, you had to do work as an SA. So you had to do supporting
What?
artist work. Yeah, it was 60 days minimum
Oh,
as an
wow.
SA, which kind of,
To
or
kind
an
of just
extra.
get...
It was to get you kind of, so that you would learn set etiquette and how, there's so much terminology. We mentioned that earlier. Like if someone's asked you to wipe the camera, if someone asks you to, sort of do a foreground wipe or all these kind of terminologies that have in the film industry that's quite specific. You can't turn up, you're not expected to turn up on your first day as a newly qualified stunt performer and be able to know that language unless you've done your
of course.
your work
It makes
beforehand.
sense, actually.
Yeah. So funny enough, talk about Death Eaters. That was I was a Death Eater, but I was a I was one of the SAs.
Did
so
you
we
cross
got brought
over?
in. No, we didn't know each other then.
No.
But I mean,
So you might have,
there's
and just
there's a
not-
chance
yeah.
we were on the
Yeah,
same set at the
possibly,
same time. Yeah.
But just so your viewers know, people, not viewers, listeners, I'm small, I'm 4'8". So when we're saying like double and Dumbo, just so in case they can't see it, actually, when I'm saying, and even on like the Mummy Returns, I was doubling a kid because I'm small. So just obviously, if people aren't watching this and listening, my height, that's why I was like a scale double. Just in people,
Yeah,
people like,
no, yeah.
oh, he's
Yeah,
6 foot,
it's
he's a scale
relevant.
double. Yeah. What?
Yeah, so that's again,
Amazing.
like I guess I kind of started off in the industry as an SA, but only because you had to do it to become stunts.
Yeah, but you don't have to anymore. You're saying it's changed.
It's changed slightly now. So there's that is a route in, a pathway in, but there's also like a compulsory acting course. You have to go on like a 5-day intensive acting course. They've kind of made it a bit more there's a few different avenues in, because I mean at the time it was kind of hard to get extra work.
Right.
If there were no big films and they didn't need 200 people to be Death Eaters in the background of a shot, then you might just be trying to get on a walk, sort of a walk-on character in the background of a soap or something. But anyway, it's changed a lot now. There's like different routes into it, but as a result, most of the stunt people who are kind of around now have at some point been someone in the background of a shot,
course.
just watching the stunt people walk by.
Well, the saying, bear with. Every serial killer is a psychopath, but not every psychopath is a serial killer. Every stunt actor is an actor, but not every actor can do stunts, right? Not every actor is a stunt person.
Yeah, I'd kind of agree with that. Yeah.
But you guys have an extra level of, because you have to sell so much and do a lot of acting in the stunts. So I always find it quite interesting.
Yeah, I think that's the idea of us kind of being
job.
like sort of rebranded or thought of as, most of us call ourselves stunt performers as opposed to stunt men or stunt women, and that kind of idea of being a stunt performer, not just someone who does stunts, but someone who can perform stunts, and that means doing maybe the acting beats before or the acting beats after you've done the stunt.
Yeah.
But I mean that's kind of why Paul's career has been so interesting, because you've kind of come full circle, started as an actor, into the theatre, into stunts, into stunt coordinating, like kind of essentially the highest point you can get to in the sort of stunt world as a coordinator on these big films. And then you've transitioned back into acting and now kind of got some really exciting kind of stuff coming out in the acting side of things as well.
In the acting world.
I think the biggest thing of stunts though is actually the performing.
Yeah.
It's not like I don't think I'm a good stuntman. I don't think I ever was a good stuntman. That wasn't one of my strengths in doing stunts, but I could act. And it's actually just selling it. That's what it is. It's the whole thing of just being able to sell what you're doing and leading up to it and afterwards. If you're just stiff and you can't take direction or do anything, nothing's going to look good.
Yeah.
If you can take things and you can watch someone, a lot of the things I did was obviously doubling kids. I mean, I've got some bad stories. I probably can't mention them on this one. the motorbike one, remember? Yeah. But you have to watch the person you're doubling, and you've got to take on the way they walk, the way they act, and then you've got to transfer that then onto whatever you're doing, whether it be a knockdown or something simple. You know what I mean? But that's just so it's actually performing. If you're nervous and you can't perform in front of people, then you've got a camera right in your face. That's very daunting. You've got to get past that. So I think actually just performing and acting is a massive big thing for stunts, for a good, especially now.
Yeah.
Well,
and I think a lot of people, without that performing element, you would actually kind of just be a daredevil.
Yeah.
And actually a lot of people think, stunt men and women, stunt performers, they must be, crazy daredevils. Most of us aren't actually. We're kind of much more calculated. No stunt person would, I guess the difference, I saw Wade Eastwood, who's a very well respected and high level stunt coordinator, technical director, talk about this recently in an interview, and he was kind of explaining the difference between a stunt person and a daredevil. And a daredevil might just jump off of a bridge, a 50-foot bridge into the water. The difference would be that a stunt person would go down, scuba dive under, check what's under there, have a knowledge of the tides, the rip currents, the scenario they're going to put themselves in, because they might not do it once, they might have to do it 5, 6, 10 times on camera. So it's kind of that preparation and planning part, which probably, I mean, there's a few other things, but that's one of the things that separates probably a stunt person from a daredevil.
Just a random,
someone who's just seeking a thrill.
Well, because people do think, I mean, not going to lie, you set yourselves on fire, so
that's true. That's true. Yeah, but a lot of planning involved.
Well, yeah. But talking about you're saying you call yourself stunt performers. To blow a bit more smoke, both of you have been nominated for awards.
Oh.
You got out, but it's called Outstanding Action Performance by a stunt ensemble.
Yes.
It very much celebrates the acting part of. It's not coolest stunt.
Yes.
It's not most daring or most terrifying.
Yeah.
It's kind of what you were saying about sort of the acting part being sort of a really big part of the job.
Yeah, and a lot of it is ensemble, and especially when, I mean, I've done both because I was a performer for a long time, and obviously then lucky enough to coordinate some stuff. Like, it's an ensemble thing. It's a team thing, so it's based on who you've got around you, and it's based on those people who can go out and, like I said, not everyone is going to be an amazing performer, but you might have someone who's amazing at looking after people, or like, for instance, fire bands. Like, I think I've done maybe 3 or 4, but I
Yourself on fire or coordinating?
No, as in myself on fire.
Woof.
But I was really good actually at looking after people, and even though it's more nerve-wracking looking after people, it's a more difficult job, but I actually like doing that because I knew I was very thorough, and you know, I could make sure I knew it was safe, and I'd put myself in danger for that person. I've looked after James for 5
Yeah, I was going to say Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah.
You were my fire safety. Yeah.
But it's that thing of, so when you have like ensemble, it is an ensemble piece. There might be some people like on Game of Thrones, these guys are on fire all the time, and I think I think I done like two fire jobs, and if we won, but I'm like, a lot of people done a lot more than me performing, but then they wouldn't have seen what I done in the background, setting things up or doing something else, or making sure he was okay, or like, so it is actually an ensemble piece.
Yeah. I was on Lucky Man.
Oh yeah.
Which is a James Nesbø police cop drama thing.
Yeah, yeah.
It's one of my first jobs as a runner, years and years and years ago. We were shooting on some like airfield somewhere, can't remember. And we had a burn, and stunt guy was getting set on fire. And we do it, and he had to walk from like A to B and then collapse. And they light him up, cameras are rolling, he walks from A to B, collapses, everyone runs in, puts him out. And then we were watching back the footage, and I was a runner, and I had to stand by the director's monitors and relay it to the first. And the director just went, he walked wrong. He didn't walk right. It just didn't look. Can we do it again? And I remember just being like, oh my God, he was on fire. Like, what? And
they're worried about the walk.
They're worried about the walk and how he didn't. It was just, and I remember just thinking, like, how is no one realizing this bloke is a light? It must be so hard to hit your mark and, you know, sell whatever you have to sell on fire.
But that's also part and parcel of being a stuntman. Not to talk about myself, but I don't know. It looked good, but it didn't even get used in Game of Thrones.
What was your burn? Yeah.
Well, I actually want to get against the wall, which but the one I'm talking about now is I had to basically walk, turn, and then fall in a certain place. But obviously, on the day, you've got a full mask on. So then you just basically get set in a place, and I just had to prep myself. So I'd do 2 steps forward, whatever I was going to do. And I know, and even when the pressure's on, and they set you on fire, and the cameras are rolling, you forget about that, and you just do exactly what I've done. And exactly what I've rehearsed, so I just know I'm going to be exactly where I need to be. If you start getting worried and then all of a sudden you take 3 bigger steps and...
you get flustered.
It's in the prep. And that's all part of being a good stuntman. We used to say, if people had come in and hadn't done a fire burn before, because you wear like a full mask, and that can be quite like constricting, sorry. And it can, you know, people get freaked out, so we just go in a corner, put it on, just sit with it and just get used to it. There's things you can do yourself to prepare yourself, and that's just being a good stuntman. It's just being.
There's that kind of planning element of it.
So what was your Game of Thrones burn?
We had loads.
You're just constantly on fire.
Oh, it was the trench.
The one I remember for you was the trench.
It was the trench. That was a very hot one.
Do you remember the episode or?
It would have been in the last season, and maybe the Battle of Winterfell. Okay. So we're kind of playing whites, which were the like zombie type characters who are attacking. I think it's Jon Snow's castle up in the north, and we're kind of laying siege. They've built a giant trench full of fire, with the idea that the zombie white creatures can't. They get killed by fire.
Sure.
But because there's so many of them, and they're kind of like this kind of hive mind thing, they decide to just start piling themselves as bodies into the trench to fill it, to create like a bridge of bodies to then cross the fire. If you see the episode, it'll make a lot more sense.
It feels very zombie vibes.
Yeah, right. But to kind of establish the beginning of that, we're in Titanic Studios in Ireland, Belfast. And but essentially they had the trench built. We crawled. They lit the trench up. We then crawled backwards into it, which it set us on fire, ignited us, and then we crawled out. And then had to kind of perform as we died and fell on the floor to kind of show the idea of the zombie creatures kind of crawling into the trench.
But you're forgetting they had like flame bars in the trench on fire.
Yes,
that's for me. What was sketchy.
Which was very
like,
hot.
Sounds flame bars like a pipe with holes in it that go.
Yeah.
When you put the fire, and they had them go, so they were on fire, and then them going on fire as well. So they literally stood in flames and then had to crawl out.
Yes.
And I remember being
it kind of sounds like it sounds like a weird thing to say that there's kind of like
fire on fire.
All fire isn't the same level of heat.
Well, you've got
And that would have
SFX
been like a
managing
really hot
some
one.
of that fire, so
Exactly right. Yeah, but when you're kind of on fire yourself, you're not generating as much sort of heat, residual heat,
as the actual
like a gas canister that's
course.
firing out.
What does it feel like? Genuinely, like what does it? Your whole body is up, alight.
Nothing.
No,
Can you
don't.
breathe?
If you've done it properly, you don't feel the fire at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you don't feel the
You
fire.
don't
You
even
can't
feel
see
warm.
anything. Like you really can't.
You
Genuinely
literally-
can't really see anything.
You have the mask on and you have little perspex where your eyes are, and that normally fogs up. My first burn, I literally just seen little flicks of red.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember being like, that was all I could see. I didn't feel anything.
No, sometimes
full burn
people.
and
But you
yeah.
can you breathe, or do you have to hold your breath for the
Hold
whole
your breath.
Hold your
take?
breath, yeah.
So you've got like there's a hole in your mask, and then on obviously whatever count you want to do, you just breathe in, bite down on the hole, and you keep biting down until you're on the floor until you're out, and then once you're out, then you can start breathing. But you got to be careful still because, they're getting put out with CO2, and like it's not very comfortable. But
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we did some things recently on a show on House of Dragons, and again, Rauliola, the coordinator on that's, doing a lot of firework. He did a lot of the first couple of, the later seasons of Game of Thrones, and they must be like experts, world experts in burning people, and or not burning them, but looking like they're burning them, and they actually had kind of a big sequence with a lot of people on fire again recently, and managed to kind of, I think they set like an unofficial world record for the number of people being set on fire at once.
Wow.
But again, everyone was fine, because that planning and preparation
Was in there.
then you can do a big scene like that, which is clearly very dangerous, and doesn't have a lot of margin for error, and kind of achieve it quite successfully and quite safely, considering how dangerous it is in theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking about planning and preparation. Stunt coordinating. Can you talk to me about that? Because earlier you said how that's kind of the highest, place you can be as a stunt performer. That's sort of the top of the chain in your world.
I mean, it's kind of, in a funny way, a lot of us think about it in terms of like a pyramid. Like you kind of start off and you're kind of working your way up. But the reality is that some people don't want to become a stunt coordinator or an assistant stunt coordinator. There's some people that have been performing stunts in the UK for over 50 years, and they're still literally 50 years, and they're still happy to be falling over and getting bashed around. They don't want the responsibility of that changing role.
And prep.
Yeah, and it's like you're suddenly responsible for a whole team. You're doing like script breakdown. You're doing budgeting. Like some people get into stunts because they're a physical person and they want to do physical things, and then the idea of being sat down trying to figure out a budget for a massive film and having to account for all the money that you're going to spend over the job is not at all what some people want.
So talk to me more about the breakdowns and just the detail of it all. And you start in early prep. So when every film goes into production, you have, however months if it's a big one, weeks if it's TV, of prep. And then you start the shoot, and then you've got post, which I guess you guys don't really have much post at all.
Not really. Kind of. I mean, there are some coordinators that would go into post in the sense of they might sort of help the editors and give them kind of information on, like how things were shot. But it kind of depends on how involved they were on the shoot. But that isn't really that common, really. Often the stunt coordinator role kind of usually finishes.
You'd have to sort of be invited for something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm woman in cabin 10, Sam. So if you want to come and have a little look, but he never once said, "Oh, come and help me with the edits," which is, understandably that it's his film.
Yeah.
But I was always welcome to go, but I didn't because I wasn't around. But I guess if they want you to come and help, they would just ask for you. But on a film, especially the big films, there's that many people around.
Yeah.
Like, producers will not want. They don't want everyone's opinion in an edit suite. They want the directors or the editors, and they don't want someone else going, "Oh, I think."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So on Cabin 10, you would have been in prep then. Did you have much to? How many stunts? I can't even think now. We had.
Well, on Cabin 10,
quite
it's
a lot.
difficult because Well, not really. Well, so in Cabin 10, I was away to begin with, so I missed quite a bit of prep because I was I was in San Fran doing like this thing for Meta we spoke about before.
As you do.
Yeah. And so, but I was getting a lot of emails, and I was trying, and they knew this, and I was trying to obviously deal with stuff, and they're saying, you do this and do this. So it wasn't a stunt heavy film, or they thought it wasn't going to be a stunt heavy film, which it wasn't really.
Yeah.
But on any kind of film now, especially that kind of film, small things end up being bigger things. So even like so.
I mean, it felt like you guys were in every day.
Yeah. So, but that.
We were.
Well, he was. I was.
You
Yeah,
might not have seen us, but we were there every day.
Yeah.
But also, like, the conversations to begin with, I had these conversations with the producers because they were like, oh, we don't want you every day. And I was like, you don't need me there every day, that's fine. But if you suddenly, something changes on set and you need something to happen and you haven't got no one there, that becomes an issue. Now, I'm cool with not being there every day. But as a production, you just need to make sure that you got someone to cover it. And they were like, oh, actually, that's a good point. But, and then even when, like, with prep, they were like, we don't need much prep. And I was like, okay. So I broke the script down. I was like, okay, well, there's like 3 or 4 gags on the boat. There's a whole sequence at the end, which is like the fight stuff. There's other little bits. So what directors want now, they want to see a previs. So they want the stunt team, just to see like a rough version that's filmed. So give them an idea of shots or how they can film things.
Yeah. I've filmed them so many times.
Yeah. So we do that for the action, obviously. So for us, it was like trying to do it and go, okay, like there's a remember the thing with the car, the car miss, we had to go outside and do like, we use your car for it.
Oh yeah.
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 So it's just
What,
like
the opening sequence?
yeah, no, where she's running and then there's a car that, so I don't think it was in the film.
It wasn't
It
in the
didn't
film.
make it.
No, it was cut. Yeah.
The night shoots,
yeah.
Tilbury Docks.
Yes.
Ugh.
Yeah.
But it was like, so we had maybe like 2 weeks, mate. Was it 2 weeks prep? Just to try and film these bits and try.
Yeah.
But luckily enough, Simon, the director, everything we showed him, he was happy with. A few things were like, I want to tweak that, but it was fine. And then we were just then into filming on the boat then. But again, on the boat.
Whoa.
But how long were we on the boat for?
4 weeks.
Was it 4 weeks?
So we were
I was
in
there for,
Weymouth.
I was there for 4 weeks, but we probably only done like 3 gags on there, but I had to stay there for the whole 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I taught myself into a job, really.
So on the
That's
film,
not too bad being on a
we
multi-million
were on a
pound super
We
yacht.
shot on an actual super yacht because the director wanted to use an actual super yacht in Weymouth. We were down there for 4 weeks, Portland Harbour, and I found it brutal. But I was only on the yacht on and off. I wasn't on it that much.
Oh right.
So I was just in a car park in a port,
Oh, yeah.
walking up and down, doing like producer's assistant, busy stuff. But being on the yacht every day must have been a lot.
It was a logistical challenge, wasn't it? Because even
We're trying to organise it in prep. Was
Yeah.
a head.
Yeah, we had like a
Headache.
a few. I mean, yeah, there's a few stunts in that film because it's like a thriller film, right? So it's not like an action film, but the action that happens is all very significant to the script.
Yeah.
So whereas in an action film, you might have a battle, and it doesn't matter what happens to soldier number 10, but in this film, if there's one piece of action with it was the Keira Knightley character. That's very significant to the script because she's the main character. So we had the kind of moment where she falls off the railing.
Yeah.
And, conventionally that would be quite an easy setup. If you're in a studio, we'd set up our kind of box catching rigs. It would be very conventional. However, put yourself out in the harbour off of Portland on a super yacht that you can't kind of touch or damage in any way.
Yeah.
Then having all of our equipment on and off the boat, storing it on the boat, prepping it and then doing the stunt and then taking it away so they can carry on filming as if our safety equipment wasn't there was quite a logistical challenge.
Well, even just that, what we had to get, because obviously she's got to fall into a pool.
So the whole stunt in general was a woman she was holding a railing.
Yeah, she gets pushed over the railing, falls over like a balcony.
Yeah.
And then falls maybe.
And onto sort of, not roof, but I don't know how
like
to
a
describe.
balcony, an awning, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rolls off it.
But
and then
that was super yacht. That
Yeah.
awning was super yacht awning. That wasn't that wasn't
No.
built. That was
No.
genuine.
then
And
maybe,
apparently made in some amazing paint that
It's probably out of solid
Yeah,
gold.
it's
is
swamped
something
it.
ridiculous.
It was-
Something like really
you
ridiculous.
couldn't touch
where
any of it.
the idea of us scratching it was probably very much kind of.
Well, her costume. I was thinking a button could just
No, so
a rogue button.
No, but their conversations I've had. So I
Yeah.
go to costume
Really?
then and go, everything on her costume needs to be soft. So all the
Yeah.
buttons were changed, like the belts, like
Yeah,
Oh wow!
yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah, like, we had all them all
Yeah.
them things like, oh, she can't have no pins in her hair for the week. Like you literally, I mean, I got a phone call once when I was in my little house in because
Weymouth.
on Weymouth, but I wouldn't go on the boat every day. And like one of the producers from Netflix wants to see, and I was like, okay. And I went in, he was like, it's about the boat stunt, and I was like, okay. And I was like, so basically, the stunt performer's going to be safe. And he was like, no, we're more concerned over the boat because we don't want to scratch the thing. And I'm like, oh. And he was like, yeah, look, we know you're going to be safe with the performer. We understand that, but we just need to have a conversation of how we're going to keep the boat safe for getting scratches. So here's me thinking he's like concerned over Jess or, you know, and he knew that was going to be fine. He was more concerned over us scratching the boat. And I'm like, well.
The Savannah.
I think the prospect of spray painting, because you couldn't just do a section of it. If we put a big old scratch down one bit of it, you can't just fill that in. It's not like we can just put a bit of paint on that bit. You're respraying a whole, was it £160 million super yacht?
Oh my god!
Because Paul forgot to mention
it's a good
about
stunt,
some buttons.
though. Yeah.
Luckily, he obviously
it looks amazing.
But the thing
when
with
she
that
goes over.
We had to remove all the water from the pool because normally you just fall in the pool, but this pool was shallow that end, but also wasn't very wide. So if she went off at a funny angle, so we were like, we'll box it, and then everyone wants the stunt to be safe, and everyone wants you to come in.
When you say box it as well, what do you mean?
So you build a box rig, so basically cardboard box, and you build it, and you just put that in layers, and then someone can fall from actually really high onto these boxes because they compact and give in. It's very soft. So we had to build this for it to go in. So we filled the pool with them. The pool was empty. We filled the pool with them, and then some on top. But everyone on the boat is like, well, we can't have all these boxes laying around. Where can we keep these boxes? We're like, you obviously got to stack them somewhere, and you got to make. And then it's windy, and you're like, and people are almost going like, I mean, this is ridiculous. Yeah, but I haven't. This is not my idea. You writ this into the script about them falling. We don't want it to fall and smash your head open on the. We're trying to make it really safe.
Yeah.
And then it's the same thing. Like, can we get rid of some of the boxes? And it's them same conversations you have, and you're like, no.
No, there's always something, right? Even if it's the most straightforward stunt, like someone walks along and then falls over.
Yeah.
There'll be something that complicates it.
Yeah.
You'll turn up and they'll be like, oh, but they are wearing a helmet.
Yeah.
And they can't see.
Yeah.
Or they've got a cape on and it's, dragging behind their feet. Like, there's always some element. But that's the nature of filmmaking, right? We're kind of in that fancy world.
You must have done some really complicated ones over the course of both of your careers.
A few of them aren't real.
What was, you said heads of state?
Heads of state, yeah. So again, like there's so many different roles within stunts. So sometimes you might be, conventionally or traditionally you'd been like the stunt performer, stunt double, or the stunt coordinator. But now there's so many roles. There's fight coordinator, there's a stunt previs editor, there's stunt camera operators who are like specific kind of, they're kind of people that have honed their skills in the kind of shooting action. And you can kind of get used as like, like I said earlier, like guard number 6, you're in the background, it's in a battle. Or you could be cast as a character, like Mick in EastEnders. Who,
big up Mick.
Hey, big up Mick, yeah. R.I.P. Mick.
He's coming back.
I think
Christmas special.
I hope so. I want to get the doof doof. That's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, you've been. That's
twice.
A great story. That's a thing, right?
Yeah.
So in the world of EastEnders, getting the doof doof. The moment before the credits roll is a thing. Like
it's a big thing.
And Paul's been it twice.
You were in EastEnders too. I was all up in your IMDb.
Done all the bill, casualty.
But I mean, getting a doof doof is a thing.
What was your?
And he's had 2.
I've done 2 of them. Which one? First one or second one?
It's like on Bridget. Renee, one of the kids was asking Renee about her Oscars, and they were asking about it, and she just went, "Which one?"
Oh, brilliant!
So good.
Yeah,
so good.
Duff Duff's probably better than an Oscar, I think.
I reckon.
Yeah,
I mean, how many Duff Duffs has Renee got? Yeah.
What was your
first one? It was years ago, but I had to get knocked over as like a little girl, little blonde wig. So she runs out the train station, just get hit by a car. That was a Duff Duff. And the second one was
just ate a car bonnet.
Yeah.
They spent millions
on it.
Did
you say that was a taxi?
Is what?
It was a taxi, wasn't it?
No,
that was a taxi.
No, that was a different one. That wasn't EastEnders. That was some random ITV.
Oh, okay, right.
Another one was Phil was driving this. Basically,
Phil Mitchell.
They're going camping and the car overturned, flipped, and then landed in a lake. And it was young Ben. I think it was. Was it Ben? I don't know that many kids on that. And then he's in the water as the car's filling up, and it's doof doof doof. It's me.
Yeah, no, that again, that's kind of the perks of the job. Is getting to do these, getting experiences like that, getting to work with people in unusual places, doing strange things that most people wouldn't be doing.
Yeah,
we've mentioned it a couple of times. Car knockdowns, is like one of those really odd things where you spend, as soon as you can walk as a child, your parents are telling you never step out in front of a car, you know, always look both ways. And then a few, you know, 10, 30, you know, whatever, how many years later, you're as a stunt performer, you will find yourself seeing a car coming down the road and thinking, I'm about to step out in front of that because I've got to do it at this point and hit that mark and hit the floor. But my brain is telling me, remember, never step out in front of a car. So you have to kind of overcome that, you know, what's been drilled into you. And again, stunts is one of those things where you kind of have to have that mental like battle to kind of be like, maybe I don't want to do this, but I know it's safe and I'm going to do it anyway. And I know I can look after myself and I'll be cared for by my team.
And I'm going to be paid a load of money.
Oh, well.
Yeah, because you're not, when the car's coming towards you, I can't imagine anyone would be going, yes, come on.
Honestly, my toxic trait is that sometimes when I cross the road in a car, you know when you're like, I don't know if they're going to stop or...
Oh, yeah.
I look at it and I think, I reckon I could stunt woman that. I'd be fine. Like, genuinely, sometimes I've seen it done on set.
Anyone could do it once.
You could do it.
Anyone could do it once.
So many times, I'm like, no worries. I'd roll it. I'd even land like Spider-Man.
Yeah, and then when they say, can you go again?
Yeah.
And then can you go again?
You'd be, no, shattered my elbow.
That's the difference. That's the difference.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my
That's a
God.
taxi, of course.
Yeah. Oh, so anyone could do a stair fall once.
Yeah.
Oh, I've
Doing it 5, 6, 7 times in a row and
That
still
must be
going home
hard.
that night to, you know, to do your gymnastics training, your boxing training and having survived is the difference probably. Yeah.
Wow. What films have you got coming up? Have you got anything coming out?
As in what? Well, I've got an acting thing we've done, which hopefully will be coming out next year.
Yeah.
I worked on that Christopher Nolan film for George Cottle.
Odyssey?
The Odyssey.
2.5 weeks.
Yeah, huge
Well,
film.
the funny thing of that, a funny story of that was, I just played a role in a film, and in the film, we're like stuntmen, and we take the mickey out of like, oh, as stuntmen, you're like literally dead bodies in water. Like, we don't glamorise it. We show it as what you actually do as a stuntman, or like the funny stuff. Cut to 8 months later, I'm literally playing a dead body in water as a stuntman on Odyssey, and I'm playing there. I'm like, literally, we took the piss out of this in a film that I've just been doing. And we're literally just dead body in water.
Yeah.
Like, keep still. Yeah.
Remember on Wonka we had like this is the thing again. There are some stunt people who think like once you get to a certain level, you stay at that level, and you kind of don't do a dead body in water. And a great example would be on Wonka. Paul was a stunt coordinator. I was assisting him on the Timothée Chalamet Wonka film.
Yeah.
And we had a scene with just police cars driving in, and they have to run into the church to.
I was convinced you were about to Oompa Loompa then.
No,
I was
absolutely
just
not.
waiting for.
So
enough.
the cars have to kind of pull into a mark, and then the policemen jump out and run in to arrest the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
And they just wanted a shot of the car wheel coming in and then some feet jumping out. So we had a stunt performer do that, and because he had to kind of jump out before the car had stopped.
Yeah.
So it's a stunt performer. The comedy element was that it was Dave Grant, who was one of the best stunt performers in the world, who had just come off of being Daniel Craig's stunt double on Bond. So he literally, a couple of weeks before that, he was Daniel Craig's stunt double Bond. It's like almost like the pinnacle of performing.
Yeah.
And then he was someone's feet jumping out of a car. So that's the thing with stunts.
Brilliant.
You kind of, one day you're Bond and the next day you might be someone's feet.
Yeah.
I doubled for Timmy on that.
Oh, that's right.
What?
So
Yeah.
there's
How
a whole.
does
That's right.
There's a sequence in it where Timmy's got to get brought in.
Isn't he quite tall though?
Yeah. Oh
Well,
yeah. Well,
yeah,
I
but
can do everyone. I can do short people. Tall. so he had to get.
Elephants.
So they were going to get him in. He's got to be in like this sack, and he escapes by jumping. He's in a sack, jumps into this chute, and goes down the chute back into like the where he works. And Johnny Stockwell was the stunt double. He was a really good friend of ours and a good double, but he was the same height. And they couldn't fit in this sack what they had. So I just went over to Paul King, who I got on well with, and I was like, Paul, if I got on the sack, you wouldn't really notice, would you? And he was like, no, I don't think so. Well, why don't I do it? He went, do you mind? I was like, no. So I literally, it's literally
you had
me
your
in the
little
sack.
cameo, except you're in a sack,
Yeah.
so we couldn't see
and
him.
the next day I went over to Timmy, because I obviously just trying to be funny. I was like,
Yeah.
hey, Timmy, I double you. He's like, anyway, so if you ever want me to double you again, I'm there for you. And he was like, yeah. He just didn't get it at all. And he was like, yeah, okay. And I was like, no, I was taking the mickey. Yeah.
It's a good stunt. It's a
Yeah,
great.
but
It's a
it's
good.
good
you-
stunt,
it's some of the best
I'm
sack acting I've ever seen.
Sack acting.
Yeah.
Not to talk about me, but when we done Mickey 17, they were like, we need someone to be in this little car and drive this little
yeah.
dustbin. Paul, and I'm like, I'll do it. So I'm
Oh,
literally in the stunt coordinator. He said,
A little robot bin.
I'm like a little robot bin, and I was the only person small enough who could fit in it to drive it. But listen, I don't care if
I'll do it.
But
It's just fun.
that's not your best bin story, because you've also been you were a bin before that.
Oh, I played a bin years
Oh,
ago.
no.
Well, the night, so I played. So years ago, for Richard Bradshaw, he was a really good friend of mine. He passed away, and one of my first jobs for him, he was like, I had to be in this bin, and like it was a run around this bin. And he's like a kid spying, then he crouches down, hides. So I was in this bin all afternoon. Put the bin down, went for food, came back, and he was laughing at what are you laughing for? And he was like, look, and he picked the bin up, and there was a bag of dog shit in the bin.
No.
And someone had thought it was a real bin and put a bag of dog shit in the bin.
That was your costume.
Yeah,
as
that
a
was my
bin.
costume. And then again, the nice thing is that on this film that we've done, the Stuntman film, where I've got a nice role in it. Obviously, Damon Walters is the director, and so I was saying, I played this, and I played a bin, and they were like, what? So I played a bin, I should be a bin. So there's a whole sequence in this film where I'm in a bin costume, and a very similar, literally they're very similar. Did you see it?
I've seen it, you showed
very
it to me,
similar,
yeah.
it's a similar bit, and it's funny, and like people will laugh, but the lovely thing is that it's a nod to my mate Rich, because we used to laugh out it all the time, and people will laugh and think it's funny, but for me it's a nice little nod and like a really heartfelt thing, because we used to take the mickey, and you know, considering me and Rich done loads of big films, it was like a little TV show that we used to crack about, and now it's going to be seen by a lot of people, me actually wearing it and doing lines in it. And
it's a nice little full circle.
Yeah, it's
moment.
funny. Yeah, it's
that's
lovely.
great.
Yeah.
Do you have anything coming out? Any Aaron Taylor Johnson? What's your next one with him? You must.
We did 2 actually last year that will a project called Fuse, which is out kind of quite soon actually.
Nice.
That was shot all around London, and with David Mackenzie, who I'd worked with Aaron and David on Outlaw King. So that's kind of them coming back together as a lead actor and director. And yeah, that's an exciting project. And then we shot a film out in Latvia beginning of the year called Blood on Snow, which is based on I think it's maybe a James Nesbø book. Might have got the name wrong. But that, again, it's a film based on a book, kind of like a sort of psychological thriller type thing. But that will be like a really interesting project, because there was some like a really unusual sequences, but I can't talk about them for now.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, lots of exciting
Tricky.
stuff, yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming today. I think we're going to have to end it here. Yeah, we're running out of time now.
Are we
So
now?
We are.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah,
We're getting to crunch
I told you
time.
we can talk.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, thank you so much. And thanks for listening, Mum. Hopefully we can get a few other people. And
Yeah.
I'll chat to you both soon.
Thanks, Lizzie.
Thank you very much.